Well, hi YouTubers, hi, I'm back with a 41 years of Mills Boon, and I'm going to be honest, it's one of my favourite Mills Boon writers and writers in general, Fiona Harper. Now, this is her debut. This is Fiona Harper's debut novel for Mills Boon. Yeah, Fiona, I'm going back. Now, I'm going to be truly honest, for those who know me and knows who I really am, Fiona and I actually follow each other on Twitter. I love her books. I see her as the Mills Boon rebel, if you will. I mentioned this before in other videos. Fiona, essentially, a couple of other books, kind of, one was about sisters, then it was about their love life. One was pretty much a cautionary tale, kid. Don't get yourself too wrapped up in love that's not going to go anywhere. And more of that. And the one I actually DNF'd because she took a risk. She wrote a Mills and Boon point of view from the cheater's point of view. Yeah, so I did have it for the right reasons. I love the style, I love the writing, I like the character, but books about adultery me not like. So, can we biased? Yes, I'm biased. This is my YouTube channel. I am biased. I love Fiona Harper's work. Now, even from 2006, that's when this book came out. It's in the large print in my library. Even from her debut novel, she is a rebel for Mills and Boon. Okay, because imagine if you took a Mills and Boon typical character and shoved her into the real world. This is what this book is. Okay, and read the blurb. Can his blind date lead to an appointment at the altar? Serena loves everything in life except for blind dates. She's turned her back on her unconventional upbringing, and her deepest wish is to find the man to spend the rest of her life with. Jake is a highly successful and focused businessman. He worked hard to escape his roots and now lives by one rule: never get married. A magic candlelight restaurant, a dozen red roses, champagne on ice, a scene is set for the perfect blind date. Now this is pure kind of meet cute moment, okay? So essentially Jake and Serena have been set up on a date by Jake's friend and Serena's friend, and it kind of goes, this is like, you can actually see this like happening in a film. Woman heading off to a blind date, splashes the guy, okay, he wasn't looking forward to the blind date anyway, drives him home, they get chatting, and swap numbers, and then Serena goes off to the blind date, the guy stood her up, and then second chance, and it's Jake. It's him. Okay? Right. 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 He was still a bit hazy about how she talked him into going on this one. Mel had rung him at work and slipped into the conversation while he was studying a balance sheet, saying and yap at suitable interviews. Before he knew it, he was meeting a total stranger for dinner and drinks at Lorenzo's. Right. So, he's been kind of roped into this blind date. Okay? And he decides her name's Serena. Okay? Or Serenity. That she's going to be a very, very posh, hoity-toity girl, not going to be his type, and turns out no, okay, and even says this to Serena, he was supposed to be going to it after she bashes him, and she's like, oh my god, I'm going to drop you home, you're soaked to the skin, it's London, it's raining, okay, it kind of happens quite a bit in this country, okay, right. Right, I wasn't looking forward to this is when Serena's driving Jake home. I wasn't looking forward to my evening. In fact, you give me the perfect excuse to bow out. Really? Yes, really. I was destined for a date from hell with a girl who looks like a horse. I'm not sure whether it's the front end or the back end she most resembles. Her loud was loud and unexpected. Consider me your knight in shining armour then, she added, giggles bubbling under the surface. My eternal gratefulness, kind lady. In fact, I thank you in some way. How about dinner? Okay? And so he tries to meet her, and he gives her his number, but it gets wet, and she kind of messes it up. So then, okay, Jake is kind of agreeing to lunch with the girl he stood up. Okay, she give him a second chance, and then in walks Serena. This actually is quite funny. Okay, right. 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 Here we go. Right. This is when and I love it. Maison Blanc. Okay. Right. He walked past the bar into the main part of the restaurant and scanned the entire room from left to right and did a double take. It was her, the mystery woman, here, now. He very nearly swore. Germany spent most of last night trying to forget where he punched his pillow and ordered himself to sleep, was sitting at a table in the centre of the room, sipping a drink. Centre of the room, of course. So, but the thing is, okay, they talk and they're starting to get on, and it starts to become to start to actually like each other. And then this is when the thing is, Jake is on a council estate. He's had to work very, very hard to kind of forget his criminal past and kind of build his way up. Okay, do big kind of like financial management here. And where Serena is privileged. Okay, even though okay, she's a jaded version of privilege. See, her dad is actually, I'll read it. Okay, right, right, right. Men responded to very different ways to the news that her father was a rock legend, but the outcome was always the same. It was a kiss of death. Whenever they pretended not to care or decided to use their relationship to further their own careers, it changed things forever. Right, right. So yeah, her name is actually Serendipity. Okay, Serendipity Dove. But she's just Serena, which is fine. It's easy on her. But the thing is this, okay, Serena, even though, okay, the fact is that her life has been quite privileged in a way, okay, her dad is like a rock legend, okay, she is also very, very sheltered. Imagine, okay, a jaded man from Kansas trying to make good in his life versus a Mills Boon princess, if you will, okay, she's very kind of, I guess, Raiders and Roses and Whiskers on Kittens, okay? You know, okay, she had an ex-boyfriend who was obviously abusive because in Mills Boon novels, obviously, if come from his relationship, that always happens. I hope that happens, but it's like a archetype now in Mills and Boon. I have not kind of noticed that. Um, Obviously, she is very kind of sheltered, okay, in her belief system, okay, and she seems to think that the whole world has it easy, right? This bit here, mm-hmm. Right. It's not a crime. I used to fluffing over the details of my childhood. Some of my clients were faint and thought a council estate yob was looking after their millions. She looked him up and down. How anyone could think of him as a yob was pure beyond her. 6 foot something of pure elegance was standing right in front of her, from his cashmere coat to his handmade shoes. The thing is, though, it's like it gets okay that Jake has to put this air of I'm higher up than my station in life. I have to work more. Okay, right. And in fact, it's okay. Yeah, his experience. Okay, his father was emotionally abusive and also an alcoholic, and basically took money for the GGs. And there's actually a bit coming up in the world, okay, where his dad comes onto the scene, Jake's dad, and basically does like very horrific to Serena. But the thing is, you can understand his mentality. But Serena, this is a couple which, in the great scheme of things, should not be together whatsoever. Serena wants love and romance and fluffy kittens and stuff like that. Jake's sensible. But the thing is, as Serena, it comes from a world of privilege. She doesn't understand. Okay? She doesn't like, yes, I know her life is difficult as well, okay, because people kind of see her for who her father is, and yet her father is an alcoholic. But at the same time, okay, she also is in this sphere of privilege of which she doesn't understand. And the fact is that at this time, Serena, to do some good, is working on a council estate to kind of bring music into these people's lives, which is fantastic. But at the same time, okay, it's kind of, we protect and support you, but also at a distance, if you understand. Okay, right. Here we go. Right. Right. He called the shots. He took the lead in pursuing his quarry at the start of the relationship, and he all decided when it was time to end it. Normally, instantly saw the glitter of diamond rings in her eyes. Mel, his ex, said he was heartless, but he told himself it was for his ex-girlfriend's protection. There's no point giving him hope of a happy ever after. It wasn't in his genes. At least, okay, now whatever you feel about Jake, okay, about his his feelings, he's honest about his feelings. He knows, okay, that this is not kind of healthy, but it's for his own protection. But Serena just doesn't get that. Right. Right. This bit here, okay, right. And Mel is his ex-girlfriend, well, actually fiance. Right. There's this bit where Mel goes over to Jake's house, okay, and his apartment has got a guitar. He strums it as a hobby, okay, as a de-stressor. Alright, and this bit here, right. Do you think you're taking it further? A career, you mean, I suppose? No, not really. I needed to be sure I could earn a living and get Mum and Mel off the estate. Can't see one over music in that respect, no question. Do you wish you had another choice? He shook his head. My life is exactly what I planned it would be. I wouldn't change a thing. His answer made her heart sink a little. She knew she wanted safe and predictable in her future husband, but a weird part of her still hankered after creativity and verve of her artistic temperament. Yes, I know that's why you've got you in the past. Sometimes take it for granted and broken-hearted. Don't go there. Right. So it's like this kind of scale of ideology. Now the thing is, one thing I liked about Jake as a character, once again, the strength of Fiona Harper's writing, he's honest about how he feels. He makes it clear that I'm a boy from a state, but she is kind of protected in a little sphere. She doesn't really understand it. And as someone who actually is working class, okay, who, trust me, okay, the privileges of the uppers, okay, like university and that kind of stuff, okay, that's not, you know, that's not like a requirement, okay, that's something that you've got to fight for. But Serena just still never really understands, okay. That's quite funny, okay, because this is when, okay, they've only been dating probably for about only like a short while, okay, and Serena being the Mills and Boon character in the real world, as I keep calling her, alright, this bit here, alright, this is when they're just seeing the sights of the city and that kind of thing, right? And they go on the London Eye, which is just standard, okay, and go for like a little picnic, alright? Alright, right, right. Her eyes followed his right hand and it slipped into his jacket and reached into the pocket that covered his heart. When it reappeared, it was holding a small velvet-covered jewelry box, square, ring-size. One hand flew to her mouth and she clutched a glass of champagne as if it were a lifeline. No longer aware of the motions of the giant wheel, it seemed to have only stopped on her in breath. The whale paused as they floated high above his sea of sparkling diamonds. He faced the box towards her and gently easily it open to reveal the most wonderful earrings. He buys her earrings, and she thinks after a couple of like short time of dating, he's gonna propose, because that is a Mills and Boon moment. That's a Mills and Boon character, if you will. They haven't been dating for that long, but they're in love and that kind of stuff. Even though, okay, the fact that such different worlds. But as I said before, Serena is a Mills and Boon character in the real world. She doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. And Jake basically tries to make it clear. Okay, right. Right. And the fact is, okay, his work in his life is very important to him. And the fact is, okay, that Serena being a Mills and Boon character, expected to drop it. Sorry, this is when the real world comes in. Okay, right. Then when will I see you? Right. He took a deep breath and squared his shoulders. He wasn't going to wimp out now. I'm not going to have much time for anything but the new office for a while. So I think we should call things off for a bit. But yeah, because it's getting too intense. It's getting too intense, okay, of his world and her world. And the fact is, okay, he's got to focus on his job, but she doesn't realise that. She doesn't really have a job per se, okay? She has like, a lot of education. But right now, okay, she's basically taking care of her dad who's trying to become sober and doing this like charity project for kids. She doesn't really have the luxury, or sorry, even the understanding, okay, of what it means, okay, to try to get to where you need to be. Because it was always in a way was kind of handed to her. And the fact is, okay, as a character, Serena is really, really judgmental. One example, okay, the fact that she sits there and spouts all this stuff, okay, about it doesn't matter where you come from. However, how she sees people is important, okay, because she's very dismissive mentally of people who are low class than her. Like, this is an example, okay? Right. This is when, okay, she's on the estate, okay, right? And what she's doing is like this charity project with music for the kids. Picked up a couple of bottles out of the cold cabinet inside and took him to the counter. A pair of chatting teenage girls hushed and watched her, handed over the coins to the shopkeeper. She scuffed out her change in the back pocket and scurried out of the shops. Jake's freaks were here. It was his world, and she clearly didn't belong. Yeah, right. But this is when, okay, she's looking out, okay, and basically saying, you're looking at his world, and say, well, he succeeded. Right. And the fact is, okay, that her reaction towards Jake is really kind of pathetic as well. How she comes across is quite pathetic because, essentially, they weren't dating for a very long time, and she comes across, okay, of this, you're fake Jake. She actually says that, right? This bit here, right? Right. And it's when, okay, they meet up as shortly after. You're fake, you know that, Jake? She would swear she could actually hear his blood bubbling in response to that. Perhaps it was the steady bass beat of Kevin's songs. Kevin's a kid on the estate. Meet a fake. Yes, you look a decent, caring man, but you're commitment phobic, cow like the rest of your species. She finished her tirade and froze. Right. So, and it's in between all this, okay, this is when Jake's father comes along. His actual name is Charles Jacob. And essentially he assaults Serena. Essentially says, I'm going to go to the press about this and seeking me some money. And Serena, actually, I'll give her a dues, okay, she fights back. I didn't want to talk about it in the book because it was actually quite an aggressive scene for a Mills Boon novel as well. It kind of took you out and threw you back in. It's kind of like Jake's father assaulting Serena. But once more, as an example of the fact that these two should not be together, in fact, they shouldn't be together. This is when I think Fiona Harper, as the Mills Boon rebels like to call her, kind of comes in. Because in a way, she presents a kind of relationship that is not toxic per se. But these two, they're from such different lifestyles, they shouldn't be together. Love really doesn't conquer all, even though you know it's going to because it's Mills Boon. Okay? And once again, class really comes into this as well because Jake's worked hard, okay, to move out of his class. Serena was never in the low class to start with, okay, and this is when Serena meets Chantel, and this is right, Chantel, Jake's ex. She's a sneaky one, that Chantel. Always expected she wanted out of the relationship, but she didn't really want to end it. She talked her dad into spending a small fortune on the wedding, and he was livid when she pulled the plug. I think she's trying to push Jake into dumping her first, so he took all the flack. Then she could act the poor daughter martyr. He shook her head. Can't believe I didn't work it out that she'd turn up tonight. With a few publicity alone is enough to make her skin crawl out of a hole. Now Chantel, she's done some work as a model, and she's doing her best. But as you can see, okay, the fact is that Mel, who is the one who set Jake and Serena up together, is they are working on these estates. They say to these kids, you can be anything and do anything, okay? But at the same time, okay, the fact is that the class privilege that Mel and Serena both enjoyed, they were always happy to rub it in people's faces. And I think they do it subconsciously, you know, oh, you can do anything you want in life, fine. But doing it intentionally here, this bit here, right, right. Are you going to introduce me to your friend? Jake tugged at his collar and mumbled saying indescribable. Floozy, she actually calls her Floozy, held out a hand and regarded her with a suspicious eye. Chantel, and you are? The face thrust of the chin spoiled the face of the more effect. Serendipity, Dove, nice to meet you. Chantel's eyes opened wide and a pouch she wearing transformed into a smile. Oh, you're... She nodded. Chantel craned her neck and scanned the auditorium. Is your dad here then? Right. So the fact is, okay, no matter you feel about Chantel, okay, she's doing the best she can, obviously. But it's the whole kind of, oh, well, she's just a trashy model, okay, from the estate, and I'm better than her because I'm more privileged than you, kind of thing. Right. Right. And also is the fact is, okay, that once again Serena is really kind of warped into her kind of own views, okay, of what it is. Like this bit here, okay, this is when they're talking, okay, about Max. Now Max is a boy in Tiffany State, very similar to where Jake used to be. And this bit here, okay, right. If that boy didn't have a recording contract in the next 6 months, you'd have to eat a crocheted hat. Funny how it all falls there back to Jake. But the fact is, okay, if that boy didn't have a recording contract, well, sorry, well, what? The thing is, okay, she says that, but she's not going to help make that possible, though, is this. Right? Right. Chantel's stilettos made jarring contact with the back of her seat again. She was living her worst nightmare. If the immediate thought of seeing the man she loved being pursued by another woman wasn't bad enough, her long-term plans for her personal love life were looking even more bleak. She had no love life, no husband, no babies, no future. Of course, she can change her love life, her no love life part. She moved in with Jake. That means giving up on her dreams. Right. That's the thing. She's so focused, okay, on the whole marriage and babies. Okay. Right. Right. And the fact is, okay, that it's bit here. Right. Right. But this is when like they're having like an old like disagreement, right? And the fact is that Serena's trying to see things that just aren't there. Okay. This bit here, okay. This is when it's after the event, okay, where basically Serena tries to force Jake to commit to her. This bit here, Jake could do commitment. He's seen evidence of it in the relationship with Mel and Max and even Chantel. Truth was that he couldn't, no, wouldn't commit to her, even for a night. She'd offered herself to him, and he just hadn't been able to bring her. himself to accept her gift. She didn't want her on any terms at all. Now, from a point of view of a Mills and Boon narrative, okay, is that this woman says basically today, I love you, I want you, okay, and the fact that he actually does the right thing and says no, and kind of like, I want you, but no, I'm not going to do that to us. This is just getting wrong. We should not be together. And then once again, she's got this weird victimhood mentality. It won't commit to me. Okay, she's kind of so hung up on Jake. Now, one thing is just actually quite an example of Fiona Harper's latest books, which show relationships in kind of like past tense moments, showing how toxic they can actually become. I love her work so much. Honestly, she's my favourite Mills and Boon writer. Right. Right. There's a faddest thought of him had made her stomach roll. Being lovesick has always sounded so romantic before. She realised it involved feeling physically ill. She'd gone 10 rounds with a bout of flu and come off the worst. You see what I mean? So it's kind of like a Muslim character suddenly hitting the real world and what it means. Okay, right. But the thing is, of course, it's a Mills and Boon novel, you know, for a debut. Okay, a Mills and Boon rebel can't really rebel for so long. And put that down there. I'm running out of post-it notes. I need that. I don't need those. I dropped my remote. Okay. Right. Because eventually, her and Jake do get back together very, very quickly. You see why you can't even rebel for so long for a debut novel. Okay? Right. This bit here. This is when her and Jake get back together and Max was singing. Okay, of course. Right. So he flew out and she pulled it open and tumbled into her lap. This is when they go back to the restaurant where they should have met. Her fingers reached for it. She looked down and he swallowed. Her fingertips brushed against velvet. She grasped it and pulled her little jewelry box from under the table into the light. Right. He was down on one knee. Right. And that was it. So, and this, of course, they're going to get back together, okay? Jake realises that he can commit to her. She's going to get what she wants, kind of married and babies, because, but the fact is that the economy of these two characters, who are so, so different, in a way, it kind of felt like satire. And the fact is, okay, that it's very, very rare for a debut novel from Mills and Boon to actually give a character so much nuance and understanding. The thing is, one thing I loved about Serendipity is that she's so privileged. She's also very, very entitled, and she's just kind of in like this Mills and Boon romance, okay, and she kind of focuses her attention on the one guy she shouldn't have or even want. A commitment phobe is focused on his business and his career, and this is justified because even when, okay, Serena meets Jake's father and he actually physically attacks her, which is quite still a dire moment in this book, she's still kind of wrapped up in him. It's actually unhealthy. And later books really can explore this in more detail if you read the watch the other reviews I've done of Fiona Harper's work. And this is from a debut novelist for Mills and Boon, 2006. She really was from the first book onwards like the rebel from Mills and Boon. That's what I love about her. So I generally did enjoy this book. The writing style is really, really good. It doesn't go on too long. And I liked also set in London, and there's some real kind of meet cute moments in this book. So Fiona Harper, Blind Date Marriage, your debut, keep saying that. My fantastic Mills and Boon rebel, I love you so much. 41 years of Mills and Boon, and bye now.